challenge with, one of the things that you might do a challenge for would be to launch a course. I mean, this is Zenler, it's an all-in-one course platform, right? So you might decide that you're going to use that challenge as that first step. And from that first step of the challenge, then you will launch your course and make that offer to the leads that you generated during that challenge. So that's one goal of how you might set up a challenge. Now, obviously, when you participate in Zenler challenges, we're not launching a course. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're specifically doing this challenge as a way to provide customer service and customer support. So there are a lot of other reasons that you might decide to run a challenge. And some of those things might be to sell or launch something, might be to provide customer service to customers that you already have. But you also might decide that you want to run a challenge because you need to grow your audience. You need to engage your audience. Maybe you have and I hear this a lot, people have a Facebook group and they haven't posted in it a lot and they haven't done a lot in there. And so they're like, oh, how do I re-engage my group? And so sometimes a challenge might be the way that you would do that. Sorry, need my coffee. Have to have coffee. It's morning here. I know it's afternoon for my friends in the UK, but it's still morning for me. So you might want to engage your audience. And the reason that this is important to have your goal is because that's part of the thing that's going to determine how you set up and run your challenge. So if you're not selling, if you don't have a course and you're not ready to launch a course, and I know Kevin is a big fan of this, like if you're going to run the challenge, just put it together, put it out there and run the challenge. Don't wait. But what I hear from people very, very often is they're going to wait to run their challenge until their course is ready so that they can then offer their course. And at the same time, those folks don't necessarily have an audience yet. They don't have a Facebook page with lots of fans. They don't have a large list or a list at all, maybe under 100 people on their email list, or for some, no people on their email list at all. And they have no list, but they're going to wait to do the challenge so they can make that offer. But you don't have to run a challenge just one time. You can run a challenge just to grow your audience and engage them without making an offer. The call to action in that challenge really could be that they're clicking and opening your emails every day. That's a really great way to sort of train your new list to click through and open your emails every day. If you're running it in a Facebook group, it could also be a way to get people to come into the Facebook group and engage with you every day and get them active and activated as, you know, like a super fan and developing that relationship. So that could be the main call to action if you don't have an offer ready. So there's a lot of different goals that you could have for your challenge. And so one of the first things that I want to do today is talk to you a little bit more about what a challenge is and how you can run them. Because one of the biggest things that I hear from people is, what is a challenge? And they probably, and you probably do too, you probably have a set idea of what a challenge is already inside of your head, right? And so maybe we're going to expand that view a little bit today. So the first thing is, what is a challenge? And at its core, a challenge, the type of challenge we're talking about, is a marketing campaign, really. There's a couple of famous ad campaign folks, Jeff Goodby and Rich Silverstein. They're the folks responsible for advertisements like Got Milk. Okay, so big deal. They're amazing. If they talk about a campaign as a series where one thing feeds off of another, right? And everything speaks to the same thing. So in the case of a challenge, that's like the ultimate campaign. It's not an ad campaign, but it's a campaign and a marketing campaign. So whether you're running a challenge that's 5 days or 30 days, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about the timing in a minute. It's a series of things where one day feeds off of the other, and all of those days accumulate to that, speaking to that same thing, which in this case is the outcome. So the outcome for your participants, that thing that they want to achieve. And there's an outcome, not just for your participants, but for you and your business. So that could be that you're making the offer like we talked about, or it could also be that you're just trying to grow your list or your audience or engage them in some way, right? So what those outcomes are can help you determine what kind of challenge you're going to run and how you're going to run it, because you know what your goal is and you know what goal you're helping your participants achieve, right? So yes, there are different types of challenges that you can run depending on what those goals are, depending on what makes sense for you. Yes, absolutely. That simple 5-day challenge, set up a Facebook group, or maybe because you all have Zenler to use, you can set up the challenge inside of Zenler and use a community to engage and chat with your people. So that's definitely a way you can do it. Definitely a way you could do it. Yeah, David, it's true. You might be surprised at how many people will complete longer challenges. It really does depend on who your audience is. If I know people that have 30-day challenges that are more successful than some folks' 5-day challenges. I have a friend right now who's in the midst of running a 90-day challenge. And the people that are involved in that challenge so far are very highly engaged, and they're going through it. They're on a mission. So you really do have to know your audience and what their goal is, how important that goal is to them, and how long it's going to take them to achieve it. So in the case of my friend is doing a 90-day book writing challenge, and you can't write a book in a 5-day challenge. So that doesn't really make sense. And so her ideal audience for a 90-day book writing challenge, it's a small book, but it's a 90-day book writing and publishing challenge. And so their goal and their ideal client for that particular challenge is a very specific kind of person who is more likely to complete the challenge because of how driven they are towards that goal, versus someone who would be like, no. And not that people aren't going to drop off, yeah, for sure. Exactly, David. Not that people won't drop off, because whether it's a 5-day challenge, a 30-day challenge, or a 365-day challenge, some people are going to drop off for sure. And we will actually talk a little bit about some of those expectations too, and setting the right expectation, because I think if you've been in business for any amount of time, you kind of know, and you kind of already know that mindset is a big part of what we do in business, no matter what, right? And a challenge or how you set up a campaign is no different than that. Absolutely, Liz. Yeah, 30-day fitness challenges are very popular, and they are just the right amount of time. Because what do they say, Liz? It takes 21 days to create a new habit or something along those lines. And so for a fitness challenge, that does make perfect sense, because you have a very specific kind of goal, and maybe you're trying to create that new habit. So it does make a lot of sense to do that kind of challenge for 30 days for sure. Absolutely. So you can. And so let's talk a little bit about those expectations, because, and I'm checking, I have my phone up so that I can try to keep track of the comments. I see David is in there with the comments as well, which I greatly appreciate, David. Thank you very much for that. So expectations are one of the things that kind of determine how you show up in the world. And in this case, they're how you show up in your business. So with the challenge, there's an expectation of, say, your results, how big your results will be, how soon you'll see results. There's expectations of the time and the energy it creates to run your challenge. And so there's a lot of expectations, and some of those expectations are set not just by you, but by other people and how they talk about that thing. And this is really important because I had a client, and let's call him client X. And client X hired me to build out their challenge funnel, right? From scratch. This person had a brand new audience that was under 1,000 people in their audience, not just on their email list, under that on their email list. Audience was under 1,000. And my conversation with them, depending on how much they could show up, how much you can leverage other people's audiences, was that if you could get 100 people into this first challenge, that would be a really great start. 100 people, they were offering a higher ticket program. So they weren't just selling a course for $100. They were selling a higher ticket coaching program that was over $2,000. So it was higher end. And I told them if they got 1 or 2 signups, that would be really good, because 100 people in, 1 or 2 people in the high ticket program. They actually had 4 people sign up. So that was like unprecedented, really, numbers on converting that type of higher ticket program on a challenge with a new audience. It was really great. Now, they were still disappointed in those results, and I was kind of confused at why they'd be disappointed. Like, those were excellent numbers. But then a couple of weeks later, a mutual friend, a connection of mine and client X's, made this post about a challenge they did for a client, saying that they had a 90% conversion rate on the landing page for the thing, and they converted over 65% on an upsell. They had a 6-figure sale, or high 5-figure sale on this challenge funnel. No context at all, just these really incredible and what I call unbelievable numbers. And this really matters because I could build out the crappiest landing page ever and drive hot traffic to it. Like, these are people that are already my customers. These are people I'm highly engaged with. So for example, when at Zenler, when we run a challenge and we put together a landing page, it doesn't have to be fancy. We post it in the Facebook group. We send out an email to those of you who are already our customers. And yeah, our landing pages will convert at like 90%, because you're already our customer and we're not selling you anything. There's context as to why. Now, I could screenshot those things and put it out there. Oh, we do the best challenges because we get this conversion. And it is true. And you all do love our challenges. They are very highly rated. So it's not that that's not true, but the way I'm presenting it may take it out of context. And I think when it comes to setting expectations for your challenge, I want you to have that in mind, that if you see or hear people out there talking about how fabulous their challenges are and that they convert at these percentages, you might want to ask yourself why and how they did that, because they may not be telling you the entire story. And if what you have is already in your business, you have a hot audience and you just need to drive that traffic somewhere, then that might be a different type of challenge that you will run. But this expectation that you have matters, because you need to start doing your challenge from where you are. Start where you are, and to feel good about starting where you're at, because you don't have to be somebody else, right? That's why the context is really important, because if you expect to get 1,000 new leads in your challenge and convert at 80% and all of this, then you're going to be disappointed with your results, even if your results are actually really great, right? You'll end up disappointed because they're not those unbelievable results that somebody else is telling you about, right? So you want to be aware of how other people present information to you, and ask yourself, why might they get a 90% conversion rate? Might it be because they've had this audience for a really long time? And some people you might be like, okay, Alice, but these people, you know, they're successful. They're out there in the world, they're making money. So shouldn't we listen to how they say to do this? And it could be, maybe, but you really need to think about when those biggies gained their following. I call them biggies, gurus. Some people call them gurus. When they built their following and their fortune, because these platforms looked a lot different when they built it. And that's important. The algorithms were different. Everything was different. And they've already built momentum. And that's important to know that they already have the momentum, and they have the momentum from things they did yesterday. Right. But a lot of them are presenting it as though this momentum is something they got from doing the thing today with today's audience, with today's algorithm, when really a lot of the results they're getting are from momentum they built from yesterday's rules. Okay. So I always want you to keep that in mind when people have these really big audiences and they're talking about how easy it was for them to get XYZ result, that some of those results are built on momentum. And this is actually really good news for you, because if you start doing something today and you start to build your own momentum, that momentum will help you even a year and 2 years, 5 years down the road. You have the same opportunity to build that momentum. Now, it might take you a little bit longer. You might have to do it a little bit differently, but you still have the opportunity to build momentum. But also know that not all results people are getting right now are coming from the actions they're taking right now. Some of it's coming from things they did before. So that's just something that I want you to keep in mind when you run any kind of marketing campaign, but especially a challenge, because a challenge is specifically designed where it can help you build momentum. Because once you run a challenge and you have a certain amount of results from that challenge and a certain amount of people that have gone through the challenge, you now have that momentum, and you can leverage the people that participated and the results they have for the next challenge a couple of months later or a month later. Depends on the type of challenge you're going to run. So you can do that later on, right? You can leverage that. You can take testimonials and use that to help fuel the next round of that challenge. But the deepest, biggest power that a challenge has is the ability for you to rerun it and build momentum. So I want you to think about that. And if you have that expectation where you're disappointed in your results, then one of the biggest mistakes people make is they don't run it again, and they don't run it again soon enough so that they're getting some of those results. So let me pop into the chat and see what we have. Is it good to set expectations before setting challenge length or type? Absolutely. I think, David, I think it's always good to always have the right mindset and the right expectation before you start getting to work. Absolutely. Exactly, David. Sales talk, it is really abundant online. A lot of people like to talk. They like to puff themselves up. So it's not always fact. It's not always true. David, Birch, you haven't had good luck with 400 and a free 21-day challenge, but the customers are very cold and the only interested in free training. So now I'm rethinking and rebuilding. Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing is that once you run a challenge, now you also have data, right? So one of the other things that I didn't mention earlier on when I was talking about the goal of your challenge, one of the goals of your challenge could be to validate an idea or to validate an offer or to validate your audience. So yes, David, yeah. So you could be using your challenge, and then once you evaluate it, you can tweak some of those things about your challenge so that you can relaunch it with a stronger message that's targeted to the to a bit of a different audience that might be better for you. So absolutely, you can do that. Yes, exactly. We're all David Zenler. There's 2 Davids in the chat, y'all. Yes, momentum is huge. And we at Zenler, we are all about helping you get results. It's not about our results. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, Liz, you've joined some challenges 2 to 3 times. And that is the other part of rerunning it, is that some of the same people may join again. And you actually want that. You want the same people to join again and shout from the rooftops about how great it was the last time they did it. And they can't wait to do it again this time, because now you're reaching more people and it's growing. And one of the things that can happen when you continue to rerun a challenge is you could become known for that challenge, right? That challenge could start to become your thing, and people will look forward to participating in that challenge with you. And of course, over time, you might start out with the initial goal of just trying to engage an audience or grow an audience. And that challenge might change and evolve to, okay, now I have this great audience. Now I want to use this challenge to make them an offer. It could be just to warm them up, or it could be like we do here at Zenler. Maybe you have so many customers that what you want to do for them is provide a challenge, a free challenge, as a way to give them extra customer service. So there's lots of things that you can do. So one of the things that I do, I have a training, I have a thing that I talk with some of my customers about. So I kind of wanted to run through it with you. And then what I'd like is if David comes back on in a few minutes, is that we could hop into Zenler and we could show you a few different ways where you could run a challenge inside of Zenler and maybe get some different points of view on how you could set that up in there. So one of the things that I said at the beginning is that, you know, I want to help give you a wider view of what a challenge could be. And you might already have an idea in your head of what a challenge is. And for a lot of people, the idea that they have in their head is that 5-day challenge funnel, right? You have the landing page, the thank you page of your emails, a Facebook group, maybe a workbook, some graphics, maybe you're going live once a day, have some slides for your presentation. And that's probably a big part of the concept that you have in your mind when you hear challenge or challenge funnel, right? And that's because it's trendy. And when something becomes trendy, it kind of gets distorted a little bit. And what I mean by that is you end up with a really narrow view of what a thing is, which makes sense because in order for it to be trendy, it kind of has to be a little generic and fit into a box that everyone can adapt, right? That's how something becomes trendy. And then everyone shares it, and then it goes on and on and on. The problem comes in when you try to take that narrow view and adapt it, like the 5-day challenge, into your wider reality in your business, and it doesn't quite work. And you know, we have this very fast moving instant gratification society. So a majority of people end up running a challenge only one time because it didn't get those results, right? We talked about the expectations, this narrow view of what a challenge is didn't work for them. And rather than evaluate it and rerun it, what they'll do is say, you know what, challenges don't work for me. Or another variation of that, which is, oh, my friend ran a challenge and it didn't work. It wasn't very good. And that's because they were trying to adapt this generic narrowed view on a challenge, right? So they just don't run it again. So I want to crack open just a couple of narrow views that people tend to have about challenges. And then we'll hop into the system and look at some ways to set up challenges. So the narrow view number one that I hear from people is that you need a Facebook group to run a challenge. I cannot tell you the number of folks who won't even consider the possibility of running a challenge because they don't want a Facebook group. Oh, I don't want a Facebook group. I'm not running a challenge. So they have eliminated an entire campaign option, which has thousands of options to run. They've eliminated it completely because they don't want a Facebook group. That blows my mind. So I have personally consulted on and run or participated in challenges that are run completely by email or in apps like inside of Zenler or inside of other communities like Heartbeat or through text messaging apps, right? That have been completely run in those and not in a Facebook group. And they're just as successful. And I say, successful because that's kind of relative, right? It's defined by whoever, right? It looks different for everybody, but they had great rates just as much as those that run in a Facebook group. So, the most important part is about achieving your goals. It's about helping the person achieve their goals and what that looks like for you and how you can communicate with them. It does not have to be through a Facebook group. Trust me, it does not have to be. So, okay, so that's narrow view number one about the Facebook group. Narrow view number two is that you have to launch a product, a course, or have an offer in order to run a challenge. You have to make an offer. And we've talked about that a little bit at the beginning. But a challenge being the best way to launch has been pushed by a lot of gurus for so long that some people completely believe that view that a challenge is a launch strategy. And so they put it on their I'll do it when I'm ready to launch my course list instead of just going ahead and jumping in and putting together a challenge in order to do things like validate your offer, grow your audience, engage an audience, and maybe get a little bit of data to help you make that course you're building or that program you're building even better, because now you have data from people to put into that. So you can totally do that. So you do not need an offer. You do not have to sell anything in order to run a challenge. You could be doing things to train people to open your emails. You could be growing your audience. You could be validating your offer. There's lots of very important goals you could have for your challenge besides selling your course. So I just want to put that out there for you. Okay. Number three is challenges have to be live. And I do love a live challenge. And I think David knows this too. I'm all about that live challenge, and David and I are very good at it. Okay. I'm just going to pat us on the back, David. Yes, we're very good at it. And we like being live and engaging with you all, but it doesn't have to be. I know a lot of people who have automated funnels that only run in email or only run on, it's actually like a website and it like clicks through. So it does not have to be live. If you're not into that, it doesn't have to be that way. And as a matter of fact, our own Kevin Arrow has a 30-day blogging challenge. He and his partner Sarah run, and that's totally via email, and it's evergreen, and it's a very successful challenge. Very, very successful. So you don't have to do it live. Number four, which David Birch was in here and he hinted at this one already. People won't participate in a challenge longer than 5 days. And so I'm going to say, please refer back to number three, where I told you about Kevin and Sarah and their 30-day email blogging challenge that's run only in email, 30 days. They have great open rates and completion rates through that challenge. And it does very well for them. And the same thing for a lot of other people. So it can be longer. You just have to have the right audience. Okay. And the right goal. You have to be tied into that. Number five, I did a challenge once and it didn't work for me. It's kind of a variation on all challenges are dead, challenges don't work. And if I had a nickel for every time I heard that one, it would explain the coin shortage, David. It really would. And I think we kind of talked about it. You have to evaluate it and rerun it. You really do. So, and don't expect, just have the right expectations. I think that's really important. Have the right expectations. So I think that's it for my chattiness about it. And I would love to hear any thoughts that you have, David. And then maybe we could jump into the system and talk a little bit about how we can set them up in there.
Yeah, exactly, like backing up what you said, I mean, about like challenges don't have to be live. Now, you need to be a little bit careful, because if you are running a challenge and it's basically set up as an evergreen, you need to make sure that you're telling people that it's not live, it's pre-recorded. If you use the word it's live and they're going and expected an interactive experience with you as the teacher and it's not live, that's a bad thing. So you need to be careful of that. You need to say either it's like evergreen or you've actually listed it on there so that you know. Because and what I want to pick up also on that side of things is you can run what's great about challenges, right? After you finish the challenge, you put all that work in there, you've got all that material, turn it into a course, make people pay for it as an evergreen challenge afterwards. So you're making it work for you twice as hard. The other thing that you could do with it is you can rerun it. So you've done all that work before, you've got all maybe pre-recorded material, you've got all slides in there, you can rerun it. What's good about rerunning it is the first time you run it, you're going to get reviews. You're going to ask for reviews. I hope you all are getting reviews on everything you do. You'll have those reviews in there if you rerun it. So people can see, oh, look, these are the reviews that are coming in about this live challenge. So they can get either, so you're using other people to market what you've already got, which again is really powerful. So it all picks up on what Alice was saying there with those sort of things. It's so powerful. I want to jump in. I want to screen share. It's like Alice was saying.
Yes.
Jump in at any stage. I want to first of all show you it's not a challenge, but it could well be a challenge. What it is it's a basic course. It's a basic course as a marketing funnel. Okay, so this was done because I was fed up with producing the same basic material for all of my courses, because I try and make my courses as accessible as possible. So I don't want to just do a beginner's course and only target beginners. I want to be doing a course. Every course I do, I want to have beginners, intermediate and advanced users taking that course. I open myself to more money coming in. This is the problem if you call something beginners. You're only going to get beginners go in there. So what I decided to do, and I've been through the baptism of fire, so I know I've been producing basic stuff at the beginning of all of my courses. And I was like, you know what, 2 hours every time I produce a course, that's a waste of my life. So why not produce a course that's standalone that I can pick up leads from? If people come into my courses, I will tell them, have you done the beginner's course? If they haven't, I will send them to the free course. So I've got a resource to send them to. They go, wow, this is for free. I'm learning the basics. That's great. And then they're coming into the course, which they've already bought, and then they can follow along. So it means I'm not redoing stuff over and over again. So I set this up. So I'm going to show you it now. I'm going to share my screen. This is on a site of mine. So what I do is I capture the leads in there. Okay, this is a free beginner's guide to a program called ZBrush. Once they go through, they get an email and they go into this page here. So what this is a video series on the beginner's side of things. So it goes through. So this is a marketing funnel. This is all done inside Zenler. You click next lesson. It takes you to the next lesson, lesson 2. Lesson 3, lesson 4. Now, what happens at the end, I think this is about 14 or 15 lessons in here to take people through the basics. At the end of it, there's upsells. So there's like, are you interested in learning more about this, this, this? They can click through, go straight into the course. So not only do I capture them as leads, as follow-ups on emails to be able to email out to them, you took the course, did you like it? What's your feedback on it? Give us a review. But I can also send them to any courses, so I can get direct communication. This is forming engagement between me and the user at the other end, which will convert into a student. Now, this is very powerful because I'm hitting them with 3 things here. One is I'm capturing them as lead. And, you know, probably about 2 years ago, it equated to about $5 to $10 if you were paying to get a lead to come in there. So if you were paying to get leads to come in, you'd have to pay them like $5 to $10 to get them to just be on your email list. So this is doing it for free. So I'm capturing them as leads that I can email later. I'm also putting an offer at the end to get them to come into the course. So actually to convert them, plus they're getting the free content so that they're ready to take any of the courses, and I haven't got to repeat that work. So this is a classic case of this could easily be turned into a challenge. You know, I could use the same principle, turn it into a challenge with pre-recorded content and run it. And I could promote that on all my social channels, drive traffic in there. And this is what I do. And I get the conversions coming in and I can follow up. So this is what Alice was talking about, how it doesn't have to be live. But notice no mention of the word live. This is clearly what you want to do. You don't want to go in there and say this is a live training session and I just be talking. People may be putting things in chat. If I embed chat or discussions into this, then they'll be putting things. There'll be no reply from me because I'd probably be off on holiday or having a burger down the road or something. You know,
exactly. And that's a really good point, because that's something that I think a lot of people are tired of, especially like webinars, right? The fake, this is a live webinar when really it's a recording of the thing happening. And it's really a very unethical business practice to present something in that way. So that's a very good point, David.
Yeah, and there is the other option. There is like this hybrid approach, which I'm testing now with software called OBS. I can pre-record, like I could pre-record like as if I was live, and then I could put it in there and people wouldn't know. So I could run it pre-recorded content where I could edit things out. And if I was showing emails, I could blur them before I'm showing it live, and I could have it as if I was live. Now, the thing about that is I would be live, because when I'm looking at it, and I do this with some of the Zen pop-ups I do in Facebook, I'm there, I'm live, like I was with Alice. When Alice was talking, I was answering questions. I can be here, let the recording run and answer people's questions. So I am live. I'm just following up on the pre-recorded material. Now you'll notice in the Zen pop-ups, when I do show recorded material, I mention that, watch this, it's pre-recorded. And then I hop out, play the video and answer questions while that's going on. So that is a kind of hybrid approach. So, you know, we've already talked about so many different methods for running this stuff. It's unbelievable. And you can really have fun with it. You know, so Alice likes having fun with these things, you know, trying things different. Don't be like the standard person, you know, try and be different, try and get a name for yourself with something. Like Alice mentioned, you know, you can make one of your challenges like, this is what you're famous for, you know, like our YouTube challenge. Why is our YouTube challenge really good? The reason that it's really good is in there right at the beginning, Alice and me mention that we will get you a page 1 listing if you follow what we're doing. And people do. They get the result. They do the work. They get the result. And they see it. Now, what you'll find in most challenges, they will never, ever, ever promise that. Now, you try and find me, you guys, if you've done lots of challenges, find me a challenge that promises that sort of thing to you, you know, because you won't get it. And that's because sales or marketing, a lot of these things are done just to make money, and they're not giving you the full information. They want you to buy into something else. Now, I know we're slightly different with Zenler because we give everything away for free, you know, because we're just crazy, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We're very crazy.
We're crazy like that. So we're giving all our, you know, years and decades of knowledge away for free. That's mad, but it saves you a lot of trouble.
It does. And I want to go back to something you said about you could run the challenge and then have it in there, and then you could even sell it as a course. One of the other options with selling it, because I recommend paid challenges are a thing. There are a lot of people that do challenges paid. And if you're going to do a paid challenge, it should be when you have a really large, highly engaged, fully developed audience already. Like, you don't start with a paid challenge. And the reason that you don't start with it paid is because you will get less leads. Less people will pay for the challenge. However, you can charge for a challenge. It just depends on the audience. There's a lot to take into consideration. But one option is I have a friend doing a challenge, And how they've set it up is the challenge is free and you can go through it day by day by day, or you can pay, the $10 or whatever it is that they're charging, and you could get all of the content that's going to be in the challenge all at one time and have it in like a course. So you can sort of fast track if you pay. And if you want to go through it free, you still get all the content. You do get a few bonuses if you upgrade. So upgrades are a really great way, bonuses and upgrades are a really great way to try to generate some income or revenue from a challenge where you're offering this for free and then here's what the upgrade is. So that's a great way to do it. And then I have another friend who ran a challenge for a couple of years and then did exactly what David said. They turned this challenge into a course and then they charged a lot of money for it. And they had a couple of years worth of people, as Liz mentioned, she went through a challenge again and again. This person had a lot of people going through their challenge again and again and again. And so they had lots of testimonials and reviews on it. And they used that for their course as that social proof. And in Zenler, we automatically give you those testimonial templates to put into any of your sales pages. And you have the option to have those reviews on your courses as well. And we do that because we know how important it is to have that social proof and have other people saying, yeah, this is good content, because that matters too. So there's a lot of things that you can do with the challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, that brings me on quite nicely to the tutorial site, because like Alice mentioned, Kevin's running the challenges as well as us. We run challenges, and I'm going to show you exactly what Kevin and us have done. Inside here, you can see that we have create your first challenge. So again, this has been turned into an evergreen course in here, evergreen bootcamp in here. So this 5-day blogging challenge. This is all live stuff, and sometimes Kevin has edited out some of the stuff, like if it was private at the end of the lesson. What he does is he runs it, does a presentation at first, and then he asks his Q&As at the end. He'll cut those bits out because obviously it's private, it's in the live, but he actually shows the main content inside the Evergreen Bootcamp itself. And we do exactly the same with the 3-day email challenge as well. So, and you launch your first. So this is actually seeing this in action. This is how we do it. Obviously, if we were selling this, we'd be selling this, so it'd be sold in there, and even we charge for the challenges themselves, so even that part of it is covered as well. To back up exactly what you were saying there, Alice.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, like for Zenler, what we're known for is running like a new challenge every month. That's very, very based on the needs of the members of our group, things that will actually help you achieve more in your business. And so we're kind of just known for running all of these different challenges. Like that's a thing that we do for you, and we run them live so that you can come on with us and interact and have your questions answered, so we can support you to get the best results possible. So we're kind of becoming very known for that. Like we're definitely known for this incredible platform, and the course creation, the marketing, the live management aspects of operating a business online today. And we're known for providing that support through all of these challenges, the tutorials. Like it's our training, our support is really like next level compared to not just other course platforms. I'm not even just talking about that, but other software companies that have software for like project management or live streaming software companies. There's all kinds of different SaaS companies out there. And I've never seen the level of training and interaction with members than I have with Zenler. Like it's definitely next level, which is what makes it such a great company to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely, Alice. It's yeah, it is. I mean, being able to talk to Rakesh, like the CEO, who does that?
Exactly.
So I mean, it's crazy because he's very hands-on. He was doing it all on his own. He was handling the Facebook page, and I was like saying to him, this is before I joined Zen, like, how do you get time? He doesn't really. He's looking a lot better now. He had a lot of bags under his eyes when I first. Did you
and
notice?
now we're like, yeah. Now it's like, hey, a few less bags.
He looks like a little
Rakesh.
kid now.
Great. Exactly. You
Yeah,
got younger.
He does.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's going back. Yeah, it's like Benjamin Button, isn't it? So, right, I want to jump into a challenge that both me and Alice run, because we're getting nearly to 4 o'clock. It just goes so quick. Right, so I want to jump into this quickly. Alice, pick up on anything. Well, we run a YouTube challenge, and we told you about this a minute ago. So I just want to go through sort of how we set it up, and it's slightly different to what you would set it up. I mean, a lot of people use lots of dynamic blocks, like the dynamic course curriculum. Well, we decided to throw that in the bin, and actually link to it directly through buttons, giving people information. It's just to let you know that inside Zenler itself, you're not tied to using dynamic content all the time. You can create your own custom content, and you can send that button to anywhere you like. So you can link up with lessons and all these sort of things. A classic case is the YouTube challenge. So inside here, we have our pages that are all set up. And if I just jump through some of these pages, first of all, I want to say to you that we do use our communities, all that being revamped. So we always run a challenge. We always have a community that's tied to it. So you can see we have a community in here for literally all the challenges we run. So you can see the YouTube challenge one is there. And this allows us to get direct feedback from you guys going through it day by day. The challenge runs over days, and people send their homework and put their links in there. And then Alice and me can go in there and we can comment on anyone's having problems with anything, those sort of things. So having a community is definitely key. We don't need to use Facebook. We don't use anything outside of the platform. So it's all internal. So this is our community. It's tied to the YouTube. So if we go now to the sales page, and we've got a lovely video here that just echoes the course card, and then it jumps straight into what the challenge is all about with me and Alice on that, and then take the challenge. And then it also says down here, key features of the challenge. So we're actually doing 2 calls to action here. One is if you just see this and you think that's good, you'll click it. But if you're like, well, I'm not sure, have I got the time? Then you go and read a bit more information, all bulleted out, really clean and easy to see, with a second call to action to go in and take the challenge. So once you actually go in there and you go into the system itself, you're then taken to the course access page. So guys, you're running through a series, you're going through sales, you're going through the checkout, this course is free, thank you page, and then you're going to this page, which is the course access page, which is this page here. So in here, what we've done is we've actually laid it out completely different. So when you look at this, you'll be like, how did you do that? Well, we just got rid of the course curriculum block. We just created our own blocks in here, and then we just link this to the course lessons inside the course. All these buttons are linked to the appropriate lesson in here. They all give different links out. So they click here, they watch the replay of day 1, they check out the homework for day 1, day 2. Remember, this was run live. So on day 1, this wasn't here. It was like the content is coming soon. When we finished day 1, we uploaded the content into the page and we linked it up. And then on day 2, we did the same. So the day after, we uploaded day 2, etc., etc. So then it runs through to the bonus day. So this is a different way of looking at it. You'll notice at the bottom also, we have a little footer there that tells people to get ready for what we're doing. So not able to make the live, don't worry, we've got replays. Need help or want chat, visit our community. You can drop in there and leave a message for us. So it gives real clear instructions without being really cluttered. Next, you're going to see at the bottom that we have all our reviews going in there, and you can see all of them are 5-star reviews from this course. So you can see how that's working as well. You can see what people are writing in there. So let's jump into the course curriculum now. Inside the course curriculum of your site, we have day 1 as a section, day 2 as a section, day 3 as a section, and bonus day as a section. And all of the videos and pre-recordings are put into lessons in those sections. And that's how we do it. Of course, in the back end, we have automations running. So when someone signs up, then an email will go out to them, and we have emails flying out from any of the lives that we're doing at the time to remind people a day before, and then an hour before, a quarter of an hour before the live's taking event, so they don't miss it and they can jump in there. So that's how we run it really quickly. That was really quickly because it takes a bit more time to put together than just talking about it. But that's how we run it. And it's completely custom. What we've done there is a completely custom experience for your users. So And I was saying to Alice before, it's like a lot of people don't realize, they think they're like, oh, the design in Zenler, it's not very sort of, I'd like it like a bit like Teachable or Kajabi. I've just shown you can do whatever you like. You're not tied. You're only limited by your skills as a designer, really, but you can even get away with getting past that by looking at another site and say, oh, their courses are laid out nicely, and you can reproduce the same inside Zenler. So that's all I wanted to get across on that side of things.
Absolutely. And go ahead, and David and I talk about this. If you're just getting started and you need to lean on those dynamic blocks, they're there for you. And that's one of the reasons they're there for you, so that you can lean on them to get yourself started. But if you are one of those people, and I have heard plenty of people, David, just like you have, say, oh, it's not as pretty, or it's completely customizable. And the YouTube challenge is a really great example of exactly how you can customize that page and lay it out exactly how you want to do it and make it as pretty as you want it to look. It's definitely doable. And I love playing around. Like, that's one of my favorite things when I first got started with Zenler, was going into the Ninja Tricks course and doing that. I'm obsessed with it, David. Like, getting in there and learning all, like, once you get those basics, right? Went through the quick start guide. Hey, I was a new user at some point, just like some of you, and I followed the system. I followed the formula and started with that quick start guide and started with the basics. And then once I had those down, I was like, okay, what else can I do? And then dove into those things. And what you can do is really incredible. It's a lot of fun things you can do.
Yeah. I mean, Alice, but I think you were part of Zenler before we had a lot of these videos, a lot of these quick start guides and stuff. So like a lot of you users that have been using it over 2 years, you probably learned the hard way. You probably figured it out for yourself. But what I'd say to you, if you did figure it out to yourself, definitely go through the quick start guide. You'd be like, well, I'm not basic. I don't need to go through the quick start guide. I guarantee you there'll be something in the quick start guide that you're not doing that you should be doing. I'll give you an example: the unsubscribe and the subscribe page. And I always use this. Go into your site, check whether you've still got the Zenler logo in there. I bet you have. Change it for your logo. Why have you got the Zenler logo in there? So these are things that people do all the time. Every time I ask this, people check. You see it on the post. They'll go and check their site. They'll be like, oh, and then they'll come up back on here. Yeah, I've done it. So it's one of those, even the quick start guide shows you all those things. And then the complete guide obviously is massive, but you can cherry pick the bits you like out of that. I've got a question, Alice.
Yes.
You can answer this one. So David Birch has said, email automations question. Can you send 3 emails a day at a certain time?
Yeah, in the email automations, you have options to send. Is that in a course? Are the automations different in a course, David, than they are in a funnel?
Well, they are. I mean, the thing is that if you've got a live going, let's say you've got a live going out on the 1st of August. So if you've got a live going out 1st of August, you know exactly when that's going out. You know when that live's starting, 4 o'clock, 1st of August. So if you go into a course, you can set a date for it to go out. So if you want it to go out on the 28th, 29th and 30th, you can set that date in there and it will send out. Now, be careful, because if people run past that time, they're not going to get the email because it's past that date. But you can set it for a time, and you can do it set for a time in marketing funnels, in courses, and also in lives as well. Now, with lives, you can do it before the event. So you can say from the event, send this email, again using a date, because you know exactly when that live's going live. So you can set 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days before, or you can do it from the moment they register. So if they enroll in a course or they register in a live, you can also say it from that date. So you can say 1 week after registration or 1 week after enrollment, they receive this email. So you can do it either way you like. David, just to let you know, there's more advanced options in here. You can actually filter. So if you wanted to, on day 1, you could tag someone, and then on month 2, you could untag them. And then you could send emails to filter out only to specific tags. So if they're tagged or they're untagged, it can send specific emails out. It's a little bit more advanced. Well, once you get your head around it, it's pretty easy to use. But yeah, you can do everything. You can send it out at any dates you want.
Yeah.
Which is what you were saying, Alice.
Yes. And David, because you're talking about live. So are you talking about live streaming, live, like the live webinars, is live Zoom session? Because there's going to be a little bit of a difference, right?
Right. Live streaming, no, but you could see, even with that, I love this sort of thing, because even with that, because when you're live streaming, you're normally live streaming to like Facebook or YouTube. So you could just do a follow-up email. You could actually get those users if you know them, if you've got a data list, because you don't know who's going to turn up. We don't know who's going to turn up in this live. So I don't have any email addresses. But if I know those people are going to turn up because they are part of a group, I could send an email out, round robin email out to all those people saying, here's the event, is happening, blah, blah, blah. But you can't send automations out through live streams. The only automations you send out are through live classes, interactive webinars, or webinars.
Yeah, and David Birch did just say live Zoom sessions. So yeah, so you do have those options in the lives that you can, as David already said, you can schedule those to go out in a certain from subscription date, and then you could send them like how I set them up for the onboarding and the demo webinars is they get the instant email when they sign up, which gives them the link. Then they get a 24-hour reminder that that session is coming up. Then they get a 1-hour reminder that that session is coming up. And then right at the beginning of the session, they get a reminder that the session is live. And then I schedule a fourth one with a specific date and time on it for that same day, like 2 hours after, just to follow up and say, hey, if you missed it, you could book another session here, and hey, we'd love your feedback, and they get a link to a survey. So you can definitely schedule both from the time that the session is booked standpoint, that funnel, and then you can choose a specific date and time to send it. So yeah, those are all doable.
Yeah, that's perfect. And it's also like Alice was saying there, you know, you could, she's following up for people that didn't attend. So she's chasing them up. But think about it, if you're running a live where you've got a replay page, you can actually set it up. Make sure you do it though. If the live recording is going to finish and you're going to upload the replay within a day, then 2 days later, send a link out to people to the replay page. So you can follow up after to send people to the replay page that missed the live, if you're running it in that way. So especially if it's paid, because if people have missed it, oh, I forgot, I need to see the replay, I paid for it, and they don't get it, they're not going to be happy. You need to be sending them to a replay if they paid for it, for sure. Otherwise you'll get, I want a refund. You know, they won't be happy if they've missed the live. I know that they shouldn't have, but you've got to be compassionate about these things because life gets in the way sometimes, you know. So great questions there, and a great session, Alice.
Yes,
we've run over 1 minute.
Yes, I know we run over. So thank you all so much. If you have questions for the replay, just type them below. We'll check back. And thank you, David, for joining in with me on the challenge conversation. You know, it's always a pleasure.
It's always exciting. I love talking about challenges because we could literally talk for hours and hours about this.
We could have a whole day with Zenler just on challenges.
Maybe, yeah, have the whole team. We'll all have.
Yeah, we could. Everybody could have a different perspective because we all kind of do. And I think that's the main point. Like, there is no one way to do it and to do it successfully or to do it for you. So, you know, expand, test things out, try things, and have fun with it.
Fabulous. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
There we go.
Hi, Manmeet.
Hey. Hi, Alice. I was listening through the entire session. It was a lovely session. And we did explore different ways that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Manmeet. I mean, again, you're like, Manmeet, you'll run things in a different way to, Alice or to me or to Kevin. Sometimes, because we are a team at Zenler and we all have our ideas on how things are running. And we do have team meetings. And sometimes they can get a little bit heated because you've got one way of doing things. You can do another way of doing things, which is right, which is wrong. All of them are right. It's just sometimes you have to go, look, hold on, you're running it, so you run it. I won't get in the way. And it's hard because you want to go, oh no, I want to do it that way. It's all different viewpoints. It's all fun though. We all love each other, really, don't we?
We do.
Yes, we do.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye, y'all. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
All right, now we have the amazing Manmeet on. So Manmeet today is going to talk about, actually, I'll just let you do it, Manmeet. You can just do it. I'm going to jump in later because I have a little bit of feedback in this as well. So again, this is another subject which people work with different software, different hardware, and, one person's view on something is another, and has another view. My view is I've only ever used professional software and hardware because I've always worked for a company that's luckily always paid for it for me. So I've been privileged in that way. But most people, I'd say 99%, are trying to build up their hardware and their software. And that's where this subject that Manmeet's going to talk about is going to be really, really good for you. So Manmeet, take it away. Let me know when you want me to join in. I'll join in about half an hour.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant. See you later.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Hi guys, so like David mentioned, I would be talking about how to record your courses and specifically on a budget. Now, why do we have that subject on a budget attached to the topic is because it is very personal to me as an experience. When I was starting out as a coach and my entrepreneurship journey as a coach, I was really figuring out that, how would I spend so much of money in softwares and hardwares? One, I have invested in the program to learn from my mentor as to how to be a good coach and how to come up with a curriculum. Now, the second thing is that I have to invest in these softwares like Camtasia and maybe a sound recording system, maybe a very good camera, and all of that together in the course that I was attending. All the products were listed one after the other, and I was just sitting with a pen and paper and calculating what is the amount I need to actually start recording the courses. So one by one, I was obviously calculating in the Indian currency. So one by one, I was just noting down all of the prices for all the products, and coming down to it, the total was approximately about 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh rupees, which is around $1,000 to $1,500. That would be the kind of investment I have to do before I start recording my courses. Now, one thing is for sure that, business is always a sweet risk that we take. The business can always go wrong. We are not very sure about if this is the thing that will work 100%. There are chances that might go wrong. Our audience might not like it, and we might have to make amends depending upon what the audience wants. Because ultimately, we are giving value to them. We are selling it to them. So I was to make this investment before I had to decide that whether the program I'm investing in, whether the program or the course I'm creating would be in demand in the market or not. Yes, I had done my research, but when you get on ground, that is when you realize that whether it is going to work or not. So at that moment, I decided that no, I am not ready to make this kind of an investment. I would want to start small. I would want to start with products that I can afford, maybe free of cost, or with products that have a slight effect on my pocket. I would want to begin with those. And once my course starts to work, once the students start coming in and I see the results, I would happily invest whatever amount is required, because now I know the investment would be worth it. So that is the time when I actually went out, did my own research, and found about all of these resources that I used at that point in time. And I can show you the quality of the videos. They were not bad. Of course, they were not as good as these expensive products, but they were good to go for anybody to consume that content without any disturbance, with good video quality, and with my content clearly visible to them. So before we start, before I share what all resources were there, everybody who's watching right now, have you already recorded your courses, or are you on the journey of recording your courses? I would love to know that. Where are you? Are you creating a curriculum right now? Have you recorded your courses, or you are yet to record your courses and you're planning for that? Let me just take a quick look at the chat box. Oh, I just read Andrew's message. I give you my best wishes. I hope you get well soon. I will keep a check at the messages. If at all, please come forward and share that. Where are you in your journey in recording those courses? So once we decide that we are going to record our courses, it is primarily divided into 4 phases when we start that journey. And before we actually get to that part of recording everything, there are slight and small phases that are extremely important. The first one is researching and planning. Make sure you plan your curriculum completely before you start to record. Do not go video by video, because when you do that, you will never know that how much of content is left to record, and you can always miss content in between. Also, this is my personal experience. You should always keep the video short, a maximum of 20 to 25 minutes, because I feel that the audience should be able to consume the video in one go. If the videos are too long, they do not have that concentration to sit, learn, and then implement that particular task as well. So keep your video short. And about the research part, I will talk a little more in detail towards the end. So the second thing that you need to have, and which I will be focusing on inside this session, is a small setup that you need to have for yourself. The first thing is a place. Now choose a very quiet place. You may go with a physical co-working to record your videos, or a room inside your house. Make sure that room is away from the busy roads so that your video is not disturbed with the regular and routine noises. Also, make sure that you have an air conditioner in that room. And if you do not, switch off the fan when you're working on that video. It will be a little uncomfortable working without the fan or without an air conditioner, but the fan a lot of times causes disturbance in our videos. So it is important that when we are shooting the video, we switch off the fan. The second thing is your background. Have a really nice background, which is a little appealing to the one who's watching the video. Now, the things that you might consider is, it could be books, it could be a nice clock, or it could be a plain wall as well, or it could be a background like what I'm using right now. The third and the most important thing that we come to is the camera. Yes, there is a lot of buzz about having the best camera and spending thousands on it for good video quality, and I totally agree to that. It's just that at that point in time, I did not have the funds to invest for a very good camera. And that's not true. Not necessarily that you need a very expensive camera to begin as a beginner. You can start with your mobile as well, if it's a good smartphone. I started and I recorded my entire course using my phone as a camera, and I'll just show you how to do that. And if you want to invest in a good camera, if you think you can afford it, then I would recommend a Logitech. That's the camera we all use at Zenler as well. So let me show you that how can you use your phone as a camera. So the app that I use is a Diroid Cam. I'll also post the name of the app in the chat. The name of the app is Diroid Cam. Okay, I'll just post it and then show you. Now it's a free app. Okay, David shares external noise was the biggest problem I had. Kids, cars with loud mufflers, echo, even with different locations. Exactly. I can totally get you. I have faced this issue myself a lot of times, because while recording the video, if those if you get those voices, they are very clear in your video. So for that, I would recommend either you shoot completely in the morning, like, like 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. kind of time, or maybe after 8 p.m., 9 p.m. when it is completely silent and there are not much regular noises outside. All right, so like I mentioned, Diroid Cam is the app. So here is my phone. I'm using a OnePlus 7, and I would be using my wire to attach it with my laptop. And I think within a few seconds, you would see my video changing. All right. So I'm going to hook the wire, one end at my phone and one end in my laptop that I'm using. Just give me a second. Okay, I've done that. I've hooked one place into my phone and one into my laptop. And I have an app of Direct Cam in my phone. If you can see, this is the app. I would be clicking on it. I think it's not visible. And here, when you get to the app, there's nothing else. The app just asks you to select whether you want to select a front option or a back option. Which camera do you want to use? So I would be selecting the back option. And then let me share my screen. I'll share my desktop. All right, so here it is, Direct Cam. And I go here and here is my phone that shows, and I'll click on start. So probably now you'll be able to see this through my phone. And if I change this camera, I'll do the same action and I'll try to change the camera here so that you can see the difference. Just give me a minute. So I'm again clicking the same option. Then I'll add my phone, click on start. And I'll select the option here. One moment. All right, just 1 minute. It's text, so it's taking time. Just 1 minute. I'm updated again. And here we are. I'll just change it here so that you're able to see how I look if I'm able to change my camera. So this is how I look.
Oh, you're dropping out.
Yeah, because it's because everything is set with the Logitech that side. But I just wanted to show that the quality is not bad. The quality is good enough to get started as a beginner. It's not good as, I'm not saying it's good as Logitech, but it's well enough to start as a beginner. So though I was doing it on a live, so I couldn't really show you the best, but I would definitely recommend you to download the app in your phone. And I'll also see recording a small video where I can show you how we download the app. And then you can attach it and you can use your phone as a camera. So that's the first thing with the camera. Now going forward, I'll tell you how to attach all the softwares. All right, so once that is done, the second important thing after your camera is lighting. And this is very much important because your energy in the video could be largely affected about how you appear. Like right now, I was going haywire when I changed the camera. So your energy in the video is largely affected about how you appear on camera. So make sure you always sit in front of the light. Like right now, the light is just above my head so that I get enough light for me to be clear in front of the camera. Make sure your light is not on your back, because if that happens, your video will always be a little dark and you would not be very clearly visible on the camera. After this, yes, David.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you notice Manmeet's got glasses on, but you can't see the reflection? This is because she's got the lighting placed in the right place. You'll notice that a lot of people don't, if you can't adjust your lighting, then there's a problem. But if you do have glasses on, be careful about that lighting hitting the edge. and also the color of the frame. I've seen a lot of people, in fact, Tracy Browning did it once. So it was quite funny. She had kind of, it must be like a bit of reflection. It was picking up on the green screen. So it was actually going clear. So it just like the eyeball was just here. So lighting can be, lighting is the number one thing that you need to look at in this. Sorry, Manmeet, just jumping in.
No, please. I mean, you have been an expert at this, so I would love for you to add in wherever you think we could, give the best value, because I do remember in the starting days, even my camera and even my lighting was not the best one on point. And that's how I have also upgraded and learned. So once we've discussed the camera, we can use our phone as a camera once we are starting out as a beginner. But if you've reached a level where you think you can afford, then definitely go out for a good camera. But like I said, these resources are for people who are like me on a budget when they are starting. So one is the Direct Cam, which you can download from Play Store. It's completely free of cost and start. Second is lighting. Like David has already mentioned, that's the number one thing and is the most important after your camera. Also, sound is very important, like David was sharing right now about the noises and the kids and everything else that also disturbs the video. When it comes to the sound, you should take care of few things like I mentioned before. Switch off the fan in your room while you're recording the video. Remember, you do not have any peculiar sound coming from your surroundings that disturbs the video, because remember, it's a recorded video and it will be watched by your students for years to come until and unless the technology changes or you decide to change your content. Also, make sure you do it at a very quiet place without this disturbance of the traffic, cars, or the routine voices. I've already recommended that record it very early in the morning or in the night when there is complete silence. Now, when it comes to the recording software, different people have different opinions and they do have different recommendations as well. And I would totally agree with those recommendations, and they are best suited for people who are scaling up in their academies and their business. But like I've been repeatedly saying, somebody like me as a beginner who is on a budget and does not really want to put in a lot of investments in the software starting, you could use this software that I used. And honestly, I started recording my videos. I did not have the funds such as $300 a month for Camtasia. So I started with Zoom. Yes, I recorded my videos on the Zoom platform. I rather selected a platform which was much affordable, actually free of cost, because I was using the free plan of Zoom and did not require me to spend on expensive products or maybe separate products and have a video editor as well. It was pretty much one and all, all in one platform for me. So what I would do is I would open my Zoom meeting. I would set up a meeting like course curriculum lesson 1 or something like that, so that I remember. And then I would start the meeting. I would screen share. Now there is nobody else in the meeting. It's just me, the host, and I'm sharing the screen. And after that, once I start sharing the screen, I give myself like 4 to 5 minutes to prepare myself. And then I start the recording. Now the screen is shared. Nothing else is visible. There is no Zoom branding. My desktop is not visible or other content is not visible. And I start recording my screen. And the advantage that I had with Zoom was that when you share a screen in Zoom, you get an option of, selecting either one window or the entire screen. So I selected one window, and while I did that, I could also use my script that I want to say during that video. Now, what happens is a lot of times when you're recording the video on the spot, when you're speaking on the spot, you start to say different kind of things which do not make sense at that point in time. This is what I feel personally. So I always like to go with a script. Whenever I have to take a session, even today, if I'm doing this, I have a script in place because it helps me go with the flow. So with Zoom, I had my script in front of me. I was doing the tutorial for that lesson that I wanted to do for people to see. And both of the things were going hand in hand. I could look at my script. I could record the video. And I could also pause it whenever required. So inside Zoom, if you're a regular user, while you're recording it, you could just go and click on pause recording, and you could click on resume recording. If you stop the recording and then you start the recording without closing down the meetings, you will have 2 videos out of that meeting instead of 1. So pausing, stopping, all of that is also possible inside Zoom. So what I would do is that I would record the entire lesson that I want to for that video. And then after doing that, I would simply click on the close button and the video would automatically save on my system and the video was ready to use. My camera picture was there, my name was there, the entire tutorial was there, and I did not just need to edit it. It was ready to be uploaded on my Zenler LMS. One disadvantage here is that because I did not want to edit a lot and I wanted the perfect slot inside that video, I would have to take retakes. Let's say I'm starting to record that tutorial, and in the beginning I'm doing something which cannot be edited very, very easily. It would require a little bit of time or a little bit of video editor and a tech to be done. So I would close the meeting, start again, close the meeting, start again. So I do agree there is a slight disadvantage that you might have to take repetitive takes. But there I feel that those repetitive takes make you shoot the best one while you get at it. So this is what I was using as a software for my resources. So as a combination, Zenler as an LMS, then DirectCam as my camera, Zoom as my video recording software, and then Canva as my video editor. So all of those, I was on the free plan of Canva. Free DirectCam is as it is free, and Zoom also I was on the free plan. So I was not using any of the paid softwares at all. And I did put up a course of 45 videos where people have gone through it, learned from it, and I have never had an issue that, this was not right, your video was not right, we couldn't hear you. There have been no sorts of issues like that, and a 45 video course went on my LMS just with these resources. So it's possible if you want to start on a budget. I've already mentioned the tools and equipments as a package that I used. I'll just repeat it once again. DirectCam for camera, Zoom for video editing, Canva for editing my videos, which I hardly used. Now, a very important thing which I would really like to share is that apart from all of this that I shared right now, it is very important that you are in the right feeling and the right mindset. Now, when I say mindset or when I say feeling, that means you need to feel good before you sit on that video. For example, if you do not really feel good about something that particular day, if you've had, a discussion with someone, or for example, you do not feel confidence in your content, or something is not ready, the content is half done, or there is something missing that kind of stops you from creating that video, but you are on a schedule. You want to do that video so that by the end of this month, by the end of 2 months, that course is created. Delay your course, but don't record that day. Because voice tonality is a big thing. Even if I switch off my video right now and I'll still be talking, you will be able to vibe with me, is because the way I speak. Similarly, when you are working as a coach, when you're working as a content, and you're working as somebody's mentor, that point in time, you definitely need to have that energy and have that vibe in your voice. And we cannot fake our voices. Whatever we are feeling is very, very evident in how we speak. So if you feel that, all right, I'm not feeling good, or maybe this part is not ready, but I'll still give it a go, I can do it. You can still do it, but your students will be able to guess it when they hear those videos back and forth again and again, because it's a recorded course and people will be listening to it for years to come. So always be in the right mood, in the right feeling when you are recording that video. So I'll just repeat once again whatever I said. Once you've started that you want to record your courses, number one, select a good place with a peaceful voice and no noises in the background. Second, have a good background, books, clocks, or a plain wall would also work. Just not a cluttered background, because then the focus does not remain on you, it goes to the cluttered background. Third, the camera. I've already shared what was my resource when I was starting out. The fourth is the lighting, which is the number one thing. The fifth is the sound that you should be extremely careful of. And the recording software is Zoom that I explained in detail to you. So this is how I started, and a very good mood. So this is how I started recording my courses, and I put up a 45 videos, 5-day 45 videos course, which is done by people and very much appreciated. But I do know that David uses OBS for recordings, and I'm in the process of learning that software. I would love if David would share about it and the experience of OBS.
Yeah, thank you, Manmeet. Yeah, really good points there. There's quite a few things coming to the chat. One is one guy was talking about background noise. So David, I think it was, has talked about background noise. And the fact is, and Andrew backed that up as well. He was like, well, you know, if you've got a really good video, like really sharp video, like me and Manmeet here, if our background noise was really crackly and we had like planes flying overhead, helicopters, you know, like almost like a war zone going on behind us, then people are going to ask for a refund. And I said exactly the same thing happened to me. I paid £1,000 for a course, and it was a live course, and it was all going, and there was continually trains. It was like he was in like the train station or something. And even though he's a top, and I'm not going to say any names, but he's a top 3D animator, works for a lot of the big companies like Marvel, Disney, and all this. He didn't have that right, and I had to get a refund. Even though I could see the content was going to be amazing, I couldn't hear it. So I just got a refund. I got my £1,000 back. And like Andrew was saying there, that's as important as the quality of the picture that you're seeing. Almost, if the picture's really bad, you could just have screenshots, or you could just have a Canva templates or whatever, and you could just talk. If the quality of the sound is good, that is really, really the most important thing. It's good to make that connection, but if the quality of your face on the screen is all blurred and everything else, you really don't want to use it. So I was saying that if you're going for a microphone and you have got some background noise, like I have, I've got tons of seagulls that fly around all the time. Okay. I'm just outside there, and I have a Cartoid microphone. It's actually a Blue Yeti, so you can switch it between different functions. You want to be looking at Cartoid because it's directional. It will just pick up in this range, almost like this. You don't want an omnidirectional one that will pick up sound. That's good for certain things like musical instruments, things like that. Andrew's more technical on this sort of stuff than me, but you can see that difference. So you want to definitely go for a Cartoid or a lapel microphone. Lots of the lapel microphones pick up within a range. Yes. And they're sharp, and they don't have to be expensive, like Manmeet was saying. You can upgrade as you go. What I like to do is, like, if you're making more money, then just put a bit of that into tech, you know, and that way you can just upgrade as you work, and you can build with it. Like Manmeet also said, you can do really good videos. Just check out our TikTok channel. That's all done on an iPhone. Straight in the iPhone, edited in TikTok, straight into the channel, social channel. Look at the quality of that. I think you'll be surprised. And the sound quality as well. Sound's not been enhanced or touched in any way, just gone straight in there. So these are things to pick up. But as Manmeet was saying, a piece of software, now, like, guys, I use pro stuff, right? So generally, I wouldn't be looking at using things that are free. But because I work for Zenler, I'm always looking for those ways that it makes it easier for you guys to get access to be able to do better editing, all these sort of things. So we're working in the interest of you. And as you know, we try and make the platform is self-contained, so you can run lives. You don't need a Zoom subscription. You can have marketing funnels. You don't have to use click funnels. We've got communities, so you don't have to use mighty networks, these sort of things. So we're always trying to work in your best interests. But I found a program, and I've used it before, called OBS. Now, I did a video on this. I'm going to share the link inside the chat. And I did a video on using OBS. So OBS is open broadcasting software, and it allows you to actually stream in. You can do it through Zoom as well. So you can have OBS. You're basically using OBS as a virtual camera. So because OBS is its own software, you can put whatever you like into it, including yourself, multiple feeds. So it might include pre-recorded media, all this sort of stuff can go in there. That from OBS is piped into Zoom, and Zoom just shares all of that information from OBS. Well, this is really powerful because it means in OBS, if you cut to different scenes, and you can actually create transitions from one scene to the other, like a fade. Now, I do this exclusively for Zen pop-ups. So if you've seen any of the Zen pop-ups, and I've had people ask, how did you do that? How did you do this? It's all done through OBS. We produced a video because we're going to produce a better video for showing how to use OBS inside Zoom with pre-recorded material. But like Manmeet just had that problem with showing the phone and doing this and doing all that. The tech gremlins come in there because she's using her camera and she's got to switch to one camera or another inside there. So from a technical point of view, for me to produce that as a video, I need to have at least 3 cameras going. Lucky I've got 4, so I can do it. But I would never do it live because like Manmeet had like there, it was just, with the stuff, it's just like you're trying to show it, but you got it across. But it's kind of like, it's really hard to show some technical hardware and software when you're broadcasting through a camera. So as you find out, so we've got this, so we got an OBS video that we produced. So I'm going to share my screen. If you go to our YouTube channel, and the first video, it's the second video on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/c/Zenler. Go in there and check out Zen Pop-Up using OBS like we do for Zenler. Yeah. Okay. So what this shows you is how we can use OBS to record our video. Now, this is doing pretty much exactly the same as what Manmeet was doing with Zoom. However, the difference is that we can set up fades and multiple scenes. So we can have an intro scene. We can play that. When it gets to the end, we can cut to our live feed and we can set a transition. It could be loads of transitions in there, like fade outs, horizontal slide across, all these different fades you can pick, and it will jump and it will fade. But while you're doing this, you can hit the record button. So you can record it, saves to your desktop. If you've done a good edit, you can just upload wherever you want to, straight into your course, straight onto your social media platform. It's up to you. If you make a hash of it and it goes wrong, you just stop the recording, start again and re-record. So that's like Manmeet was doing with stopping the session. Another little tip for Zoom, like when you hit record in Zoom, it does record what you're doing, but you don't need to close the session down. All you do is stop the recording. It will save that part. So then you can reset yourself and hit the recording again, and it will set up another folder with that recording in. So that saves you going out of Zoom and going back in. Yeah. Just a little tip that helps. So using OBS, really powerful for these things. Now, while we're on that, I just want to jump into this one here. Where am I going? Yes.
And I also feel like you were just mentioning right now, the transition, what I was mentioning in Zoom and the transition in OBS. The transition in OBS is much smoother because I've seen you use that platform whenever we are in our lives or any part of live Zenler event that we are doing. And I have experienced Zoom for myself. So I know Zoom is like click on share, then select a window, then click on share, and then the video plays. Now, when you want to share another screen, don't share, then again, click on share, and then you get to the other video. Whereas in OBS, it's like a smooth transition. I mean, the person watching does not even know that the window's changed. So I think that's like the biggest advantage with OBS.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the massive advantage of OBS, and we get this question a lot, Manmeet, is how can I run a live like you do with pre-recorded content through OBS? It's that simple. So there is a little bit of learning to do. You need to hook in things called virtual cables, which pipe the microphone sound through OBS and then through Zoom. There's certain things you need to do in Zoom as well. You need to actually pick the advanced camera option and share OBS as the screen. So those things, and once you've got that linked up and you've got that showing through Zoom, you can then do all of your stuff inside of OBS, including things like moving yourself around, turning yourself off, you know, adding media. You're going to notice that if any of you guys have been watching, are you into gaming or anything? If you've watched any gaming videos and they have the person playing like this, and then they have the little screen come up of what they're playing, that's done in OBS.
Yes.
They've got that. They've created a lovely frame around the outside. You can do countdown timers. You know, you can have animated things going on and all this stuff. Well, you cannot do that inside. You cannot do that easily inside Zoom. You know, it would be quite hard. You'd have
We cannot do it, I think.
Well, you could do it. You could do it by using, because you know they have the option of selecting a background like we have here. Also, inside Zoom, you have the option of picking a video. So if you go to the video and pick the video, I've used it before. I've got a video for Mojo, and I have it sort of like changing colors. That's because I've selected a video, but it's not interactive. I can't stop it. I can't add anything in live, whereas OBS, you can do all of that. So OBS, really good. Make sure you go to that video. After we've done this session, I'll just post it into the group where that video is. Definitely check it out. It's the way forwards. And like Manmeet's checking it out now, and she's probably going to do some stuff with OBS. She'll be good.
Yes, absolutely. I need to upgrade myself. I'm with Zenler now, so I need to upgrade myself.
Yeah, and you know what? Although people think, oh, it's a new piece of software and oh, it's called OBS, it must be complicated. It's really easy. Once you've got it set up, you just run with it. So any of you on it, you know, tag me in on any Facebook posts and ask for it. Please do a video, and then maybe we will. Rakesh will prioritize it to go on there. But I want to talk about now free resources. So Manmeet's already done a bit on how you can do things for a budget. We actually included in the YouTube challenge, we included some reference material for free video recording and editing software. So I just want to share the screen with you. So if you're going to tutorials.newzenler.com, make sure that you join up with the YouTube challenge, and then you'll find in day 2, if you go down to additional resources, you're going to see that you have a little menu, and you click this one here, video and recording software. And down here, it will give you a list of paid video editors and recorders, and it will also give you free ones as well. So ones that I like that have quite a lot of sophistication in them is the one I actually have used before is DaVinci Resolve, although I haven't used it for years, and it's still really good. iMovie again is really good. Hit Films Express is also really good. These are free. Okay, they do make money if you want to buy add-ons, like anything, you know, you can buy add-ons, but they're free to use. Screen recorders, you've got OBS, which we just talked about, and you've got aPower Soft as well. These are really good. I was also hunting around, I haven't used this, but I was hunting around on internet, and you should do this, go to Google and just check out and try things out. But this looked quite good. So it's called Vidyard, and it's actually an add to Chrome extension. I think it's a bit like Loom, where you can record a video in there. So it actually connects you up and allows you to edit if you're using the Chrome browser. So these can be really powerful pieces of software to use for sure for this sort of thing. So the other thing,
please continue.
Yeah. So the other thing we were talking about was setup and those sort of things. So inside tutorials.newzenler.com, we have a course called Hardware and Software Setup. Now, if you go to my hardware setup, you're going to see the stuff that we use here. Although I have upgraded all this stuff, you can see the videos in here, and you're going to see down here that I show you a basic setup for, this is very basic setup for working what we do here, which basically hasn't changed a lot. I've still got the green screen behind me, but I have multiple lights and multiple cameras set up on little tripod-y things behind the desk. And I have a big green screen, which is still behind me. And down here, so it shows you exactly what's shown. I have multiple monitors on my desk as well, but you can see this setup in here. So that's how I kind of set up. It's changed a bit, but this is a basic setup. So hopefully that helps you guys out.
That looks so advanced. I'm definitely going to watch that course for sure. I mean, the video, the way you were rotating and showing the entire setup looks so fascinating to me.
Yeah, that's just a quick 3D sketch. So we just output it and you can spin it round. But that's a basic setup. It's a green screen behind you. If you've got a nice clean office, you don't need a green screen. You could just leave it. The thing that we have a green screen is because of clutter. You know, I've got surfboards on the wall. I've got wetsuits all over the place. It would look pretty messy. Unless I was doing a surfboard training session or something. So I have the green screen behind me. That way I can put the background in there. And, you know, you've got the monitor on the desk, you've got a light, ring light normally with a webcam in the middle, and that's all you need. And a microphone, of course. Because of sound quality, you need to make sure that's good. But that's all you really need. And then you build from it. So then you start getting an SLR camera, you start getting extra lights, you start getting extra cameras, you know, then you start doing stuff for other social platforms like TikTok. So then you have another little arm in front of you where you can put your iPhone to do TikToks, and it grows. And you know, the other monitors start popping up, and suddenly you need about 3 desks there.
I know. I can, while you're saying it, I can sense it, that, you know, how it builds up step by step. And I can already imagine the way you were explaining right now when the green screen goes off. So how would your entire background look by your explanation alone?
Yeah, but that's...
It also reminded me about Canva. If I remember, Canva now has recording feature as well. The presentation that you've made, you could record it in Canva with your camera as well. The only thing is that Canva, you will have to use a paid version then. It will not be one of the best resources, but it's for people who would be getting started. Like, you know, they want to just get started, maybe a few videos. And then, of course, the best thing is to use the resources that you've already mentioned once the scaling up happens.
Yeah, I did. I tried out the video editing in side of Canva, and if it was good, I would have done it as a video, but it was awful. It was really bad. I think it's one of those things that you have to be careful of, that when a software company is starting to try to get other markets, and they actually should just stick with something they're really good at. And Canva is really good for doing presentations and making it easy to put designs together. But when they start breaking into a very, very complex side of things, which is video editing, is probably a really bad call. You know, it's there, you could use it. I've used it. I think it's probably more used for producing things like animated GIFs and those kind of things than full editing. You'd be much better learning, like, you know, the piece of software that you were using, Manmeet, or even if you're upgrading, going to Camtasia, or even one of the free like DaVinci Resolve, learning that. There's loads of videos on it because it's been around for years and years. So and it's not a lot. Like you as a course creator, like all our videos, like if I come on live and I do a video, I already have an intro slide, and I already have the outro slide. I just take it into Camtasia, throw the video in there, put the intro background, and then just put a fade on it and then produce it out. That's as far as the editing goes for any Zenler work. Sometimes I might blur things if it's sensitive information like card details. But other than that, that's as simple as it gets. And honestly, it's so easy to do. All of you can do this stuff. And all of the companies that are producing these video editing softwares like Descript, you know, these online things, they make it really easy for you to use. Lots of them even do the transcoding for you as well. So they actually translate, you know, they do the captions for you and produce those out, so you can export those out, bring them into your courses. They do make it easy, but I think Camtasia, Canva, their editing, I don't know. I hated it, so I didn't do a video on it. If it was good, I would be doing a video on it.
I used Canva like just to record it. Like when I was doing a presentation, I wanted to record for myself for one of the events. So I switched off my camera and I just did the audio recording with the presentation. So I thought that worked in my favor because it was without the video, but I've never used Canva for editing because I tried it, but it doesn't work out. Like when you're trying to set the timing, you have to go 1 second back, 1 second forward. And like you said, it's awful. Like you can't do the video editing for sure.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on there, Manmeet. It's like if you were just going to go straight on to Canva, do a slide presentation, hit record. Yeah, why not? Because you're going to run it through and that's it. You're going to edit that into another video, but you're going to edit it into another video, or use it as a standalone piece. But when you start to come in and edit things, then it becomes a pain to do it in something that's not designed for it. So I think be careful with it, but play around. You might love it. I know some people are using Canva and they like it because they're probably doing what you're doing and they're not doing like cuts and things like that. So it's horses for courses, I think.
I love Canva, but I didn't, get along with the editing for sure. It takes a lot of time to set that one. If you have a big video and you want to cut out one small piece, it takes about 15-20 minutes to get to that piece first, and then let alone edit. So editing is something that even I couldn't get along with.
Yeah, it's a big subject and it's hard. It's really hard. Like, it's really good that you're tackling this, Manmeet, and live, you're doing it live, because it's one of those things that everything can go wrong when you start. Like, if I was to start OBS up now and just run it into Zoom, I could have I wouldn't even dream of it. I need to get set up before I go live. I wouldn't just go and do it. And I've been doing this stuff for a long time. So for you to hook up your phone in there, try and split across and then you got a green screen. I was like,
actually, I really wanted to show that, how authentic it is, that it really works on my phone. I forgot to mention, I think, which was the important point is that when you use your phone as a camera, it's not just a phone which will be hanging around. A tripod would still be essential in the first place, because that is what is going to act as a camera. So when I used to do these videos, behind my laptop used to be a tripod stand wherein the phone used to be set, and then I used to do the setup that I did just now. And I wanted to show that, it's actually possible. But the only thing is I missed that tripod. If I had already set my phone with the tripod and then did the switch, then it would have been much smoother, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, you've got the green screen. So, like, I don't know if you noticed, but when you had your phone, because the way that Zoom works, when you held it up, it looked like you were holding nothing. You were just like this.
Yes.
And I was like, well, actually, do you know what? That's a really good special effect. It's you can have fun. You might find something and go, oh, but this is kind of working. You might find a special effect that you can create using Manmeet. If you find a special effect using Manmeet's technique, right, you've got to post it. That's brilliant.
See, I'm sharing additional value without knowing that I'm sharing it.
It's like another good one is it like we got a green screen behind us. So if you've got a green piece of cloth and you have it down below the desk, you can have fun with it, because if you're on camera, you can lift the sheet up and you'll literally disappear and just your head. So you can have like a floating head. I've got to do that. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do it at some point.
Are you going to do it on a day with Zenler?
Yeah, I think I will.
I'd love to watch it.
I'll do it soon. Yeah, so that is brilliant, Manmeet. So is there anything else? I've got some questions on here, I think. So a lot of people are saying, Andrew's coming. Andrew's actually an audio technician. He's a sound engineer. So he was saying the importance of sound, sound quality. So and he actually went to, it's quite funny because Andrew went to a Fatboy Slim concert the other week. So I was asking him how it went on there. So we got Liz, she agrees with personal energy in order to get the best video output. Yeah, I guess that's something we haven't talked about really, is the energy that you're putting across. That's really important as well. If you come on camera and you're just talking really in a monotone and you kind of got a miserable face and you're kind of hunched up like this, then you're not going to get people interact with you. So that's also key. Notice how sort of excited and energetic we try to be on camera, and that's what helps as well, isn't it, Manmeet?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think if I wouldn't have, and I wouldn't have that energy in the first place, I wouldn't be able to transmit that energy to the viewers who are watching me, and vice versa. If I'm a viewer one day, if I don't have that energy, like I was listening to yours and Alice's session before mine, so I could have that energy transmit from both of you to mine, and that's why I was able to enjoy that discussion, even though there was a conversation happening and then the tutorial going in the tutorials, but I was hooked to it because of the energy between that conversation. So I think that matters a lot as a host and when you come as a viewer as well, both situations.
Yeah, I definitely think, it's really hard if you're sitting, especially if you start breaking over an hour session and you're doing it on your own. It's quite hard to keep the energy going. I only keep my energy going because I'm only doing things that excite me. To actually do something that I wasn't really that interested in, it would really come across. So having a co-host with you, like, I'm co-hosting now with Manmeet's hosting this stage, it really helps because you can bounce off each other and you can pick up things that, oh, I've got this idea or I've got this idea. And sometimes it takes a while. You sort of, sometimes you can be at cross purposes, like Manmeet will start talking and then I'll start talking, and it's like getting this synergy going. It's like with Alice, like when we first got together and we were first talking, we were like really bashing into each other, and now it's fine. I've never had a problem with you, Manmeet, but I think it's me and Alice. We're like, which is great because it shows the enthusiasm, and like you come across as well. And it's like Liz as well. Liz is very calm influence. Did you see her meditation this morning, Manmeet?
Yeah, I couldn't attend the complete one. I've attended the first half, but I'll be completing the entire one after the session. So I did complete the first 20 minutes, but I had to rush after that. So I had to,
well, I think
definitely completed.
She was counting, I think she was counting 5. She did 5 separate meditation units in there. So yeah, I mean, kudos for her for doing that. That's quite a lot. But have we got any more questions coming in here? No, I don't think so. Yeah, so Andrew's saying lighting will make or break your video quality. So regardless of how expensive or cheap your camera is, if your lighting and settings aren't right, it will look terrible. Yeah, Manmeet mentioned that as well. Like lighting is, cameras love light. Yeah, without light, you're going to get a grainy looking film. It's going to look really grainy. It's going to make people feel depressed. Honestly, it's that important. So having is easier. Like if you've got too much, well, not obviously like, sun bright in your face, yeah. But if you've got a lot of light coming in, you can always dial the gamma down or the brightness and the contrast. You can always dial them down. But what you can't do if you've got low lighting, what you shouldn't do is dial it up. Because what happens is it all goes grainy. So lighting is, I'd say, as far as picture quality, is the most important thing. You can get away with a really rubbishy webcam, but if you've got good lighting, it will look good. But even if you've got the best quality digital SLR and you've got low lighting, it's going to look terrible. So that is a really good point there. So
definitely,
fabulous.
I think what we're talking about in the entire session today, to sum it up, I think there would be one word, that is experience. Because today, when we are doing live, when we are coaching live and we are recording the videos, it is all about the experience that we are giving to our students, our viewers, our paid customers. Watching us, listening to us, and consuming the content is an experience. And if they do not have a good experience, either, like you said, they would ask for a refund, or even if they leave it and let it go for first time, they would never be a retainer. I mean, they would never want to be a second time customer. And the worst of all is they would never be your ambassadors who go out and tell that, do attend this one is a really good coach. You should definitely go and work with them. They'll help you get your results up. So I think to sum up the entire slot, I would think there's one word: experience. Your experience in terms of how you look, how you say, your audio, video, and your sound, everything should be top notch so that your viewer or your student has a very, very good experience. So that's how I would like to sum it up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that is key for sure. So you know, the quality of it, don't get me wrong, when you're first starting off, it's not going to be as good as like after 2 years of doing it. You're going to be like, I'm not happy with that. Always pick yourself up, compare it to other people's videos, see how sharp things are. If you're working in a team and you see that someone in the team has, something's not quite right, pick them up on it. In a good way, are you doing this? Have you set it to this? Have you set it to that? In the team, we all try and use the same equipment so that we can actually transfer information across, and it's relatable. We can do videos for each other. So that's what I do. And then they try that. That's what we do, especially like if you've been using the webcam. I know, like with Manmeet, like she hadn't used the Brio and those things. She didn't know about some of the software that you could install. So I just told her about that and she put it in there. Now she can adjust everything and make it look, perfect. So, which is good. And also, it also depends where you are. I remember the first one, Manmeet, because Manmeet was moving. So it was all in a little bit of a kind of array, wasn't it?
I regret that video. I regret that video.
Well, what made me laugh, right? That's a little bit of a thing. I'm sure Mammy won't mind. Is that she didn't have like a grey t-shirt, so she turned a grey t-shirt inside out. I think I was the only one that noticed. It was brilliant. I was like, because I've actually got a jumper that looks like it's supposed to be that way, but it's inside out. So I was like, is that designer? Is that a designer t-shirt you've got?
I thought I've got so lucky nobody has noticed it. I've got a good sweep out of it.
You did, yeah. So like Mammy then transferred across. She's moved now, so everything's crystal sharp. But we didn't know what was going on. And she said, well, she's in the middle of moving. It wasn't the best time. But these are things you pick it up and you know. But sometimes you're on the move or you're out, or you might be in a hotel room doing a live. Just try and set things up behind you so things are nice and clean.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you haven't got a green screen, if you've got a nice plain wall, it'll probably do as well. Notice Alice today didn't have a green screen behind her, but you wouldn't notice that. It was just a painted white wall. So she was able to project the background image and you wouldn't know that she wasn't in a studio. So it's like things like that you need to sort of like just pick up on. Just keep an eye on detail. It's like those detailed things that make a big difference. Also, I want to say another thing about Manmeet that she hasn't. I only found out the other day, and she sort of glossed over it really quickly. I was just asking her about what she'd done and things like that. Did you know Manmeet speaks Japanese? Yeah, no. She glanced over it, and I was like, "Oh, hold on a minute, Japanese? Oh yeah, she speaks Japanese." So an interesting fact about our product educator Manmeet.
If we have any if you have any people, any Zenler educators from Japan, then hajime mashite.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I'm not even trying. No,
I'm just greeting them. Like there's a word in Japanese when you meet somebody for the first time, so you say hajime mashite. That's like, hi, I'm meeting you for the first time. So whoever is a Japanese native, yeah. So it's like a hi, because in Japan you have a word for everything. You want to speak to a senior, you have a different word. You want to speak to a junior, you have a different word. The same conversation, but in different words. So when you say a hi, like we've been, we know each other for a long time. So my hi to you will be something else. My hi to my parents would be something else. And when I meet somebody for the first time, there is a different hi. So there is a different word for everything.
Okay. So like, guys, like if you want, Japanese, Liz is saying, wow, Japanese. Oh, I want to pick you up on something else as well. When you shared your screen, we saw a lovely photograph. That was your wedding day, was it, on your screen?
Yes.
Yeah, it looked amazing. Yeah, there was some comments went in there. Yeah. So what about, right, guys, if you want Manmeet to do this, if you want her to do a short basics on Japanese, just put in there, Mammy for Japanese. And then she'll do it on the next day with Zenler.
I would love to do it. I'd love to cover the basics. And I'm sure it will help a lot of people if you are in that type of kind of business where you have an interaction with the Japanese. It will be a great starter because Japan as a country is very close-knit. I had the experience of going to Japan, and even the students, with all due respect, because they are such a close-knit community, the students also cannot speak, proper English, is because they are very, very good at Japanese. So striking a conversation in English is extremely difficult with Japanese natives. So it's good if you are in that business and if you want to approach that market, some basics would help you out. So I'd love to do it.
Oh, brilliant. There we go. So you know what to put. Manmeet for Japanese, and then that'll go in and she'll come on and do that. I think you should do it anyway, because I'm interested.
Definitely. Then that's my topic for the next day with Zenler. Booked.
Japanese basics. Superb.
Yeah.
I was talking to Kevin about it, and Kevin was saying, he was saying, yeah, I speak good gibberish. So gibberish is just rubbish. And I was like, yeah, I'm the same. That's fantastic. Thank you, Manmeet. So it's 2 minutes past 5 now. That is a brilliant session. Fabulous. Oh, by the way,
thank you so much, David.
I want to pick up something else. Manmeet did a Zen session in the morning. So what we're going to do is we're going to split that away, and she's going to use that to promote the Zen Zone. So that's going to go in there as well. And I think I'm going to break this off. This has been a really interesting day. So I want to break out Kevin's on the couch with Zenler. I want to break out Alice's challenge, and I want to break out this one as well, because on hardware and software. So they're going to go into the YouTube channel under different things. And of course, the whole day with chapters is going to be in there as well. But it's been quite good today because I've had lots of self-contained parts that I think could do with coming out and being promoted in their own right. So nice job, Manmeet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I had a lovely time. Thank you so much, David.
Brilliant. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. There we go. So really good. Good session. So I'm trying something new today. I'm going to do a little section now. And if people want to join me, then you can. And it's called Have Your Say. So have your say. It's if you want any features tweaked or what you'd like to see with the platform. So I know we have our new feature area where you can actually put a feature request. I'll put it into the chat. Let me just put that OBS video on there. So let me just put the OBS video for you guys that are interested into the chat. So, and then I'm going to show you where the features would be. Okay, so that's that OBS video in there. So you guys can check that out. I'm going to now show you where the new feature request is. So if we take your opinion on what new features you want, we do it by majority. So if a lot of people are asking for a certain feature, we will actually make that more of a priority and we'll work on it. We always run from what you guys want, although we do keep up with what's going on other platforms, and we also come up with our own brand new things that no other platforms got, such as the not having to have a Zoom subscription, it being built into Zenler itself. With that in mind, I'm going to talk about some new features that are coming out. They're not out. We're not going to give an ETA, but they're coming out relatively soon. But I want to show you, first of all, where the area is for you to ask for new features. So if you go to our tutorials.newzenler.site and you go into resources, you're going to see inside here that we have a new feature request thread. So if you click that, it's going to take you to the Facebook group. Obviously, you need to be part of the Facebook group. And inside here, we have a consolidation of all the features. So if you're going for something, we'll mark it. Guys, like, you want to check through this, because if you like some of the posts, like this is quite a good one, and you click like, that's going to show on there, and then we can see how popular it is. If we go through some of these, and they're not popular, then they probably won't go into the platform. So it's important that you have a look through this. And if you like any of the features that people are suggesting, that you actually like them. That way we know how important they are to people. So this is a really good point that you need to do. You need to go into your tutorial site and you need to go to that thread to request a thing. Now, putting a new feature request in the Facebook group, in the general Facebook group, people might like it. People might say, that's a great idea. But if it's not in this thread, it's literally ignored. We have so much going on inside the Facebook group. We will not look at it. It's got to go into that thread. So that's one big point. Now, do not send support questions to support@zenler.com if you're just looking for a new feature. They will acknowledge to you something, but they won't actually action anything. You need to be putting it in here. If you have a technical problem with your site, yes, absolutely send an email to support@zenler.com. So it's just knowing what to do, because we do have a lot of people asking for features on our Facebook group, and they're not going to happen. You need to put them in the correct thread. So that's why I'm picking you up on these things that are going in here. So that brings on to have your say. So if you want to pop anything into the chat that you think, oh, this is the feature that I would like to see go into the platform, then put it down there. Now, guys, I know I'm showing this on Have Your Say, and a lot of people watch this on replay. So if you're on replay, just make sure you hashtag replay and then put the thing that you would like in there, because I can sort of reply to it then. So this session might end early. We normally finish at 6, but it might end earlier for that. But I want to talk about some kind of new features that are going to be coming in at some point. So there's no ETA. Well, one of them is, and Rakesh has mentioned all of these, so I'm not breaking any kind of confidentiality or anything like that. One of them is we're going to have a section in the lives for one-to-one coaching. Now, it's really a derision of what we've already got. It's just going to be for you to just set up one-to-one coaching sessions in there and go into the calendar. So that's something that's going to be coming in, okay, because we've been working quite heavily on lives. What you don't know in the background is we've been working really hard, and we've mentioned it so many times in the last year, is the page builder. So page builder 2.0. Now, we know that you love the page builder. You love the fact that it is a true drag and drop system, unlike all of the other platforms that I've been on, which are menu driven on the left hand side and then adding blocks that way. This is a true drag and drop experience with the fact that you can drag blocks around. Now, from a technical point of view, that is so much harder to do. Right, it's so much harder to do, and that's why the other platforms choose this block method by selecting from the left hand side and then just having those go in there and not being able to move internal elements within that block around or into another block. There's a reason they don't do it. It's really difficult, but we have always prided ourselves on being different and making sure that it's a true drag drop experience. It's that one of the big reasons why I actually stayed with Zenler, because of that, because of the intuitiveness, also because of the power in the back end with being able to put code and HTML and SCORM and all these things. But that for me was a big thing that's very much overlooked, and I think on that point, lots of things are overlooked. We bring out new features all the time into the platform, but we do not charge you for it. And these new features go in. If you are a pro and a premium user, you get access for these. We don't say, right, because we've added the calendar, we're going to charge you an extra $2 a month or something. We don't do that. We just put it into the platform. So you're getting all of these features coming out. And I know a lot of you have actually gone on and said, oh, it's amazing. I bought this and you've just added 5 or 6 new features. So, these are things that we do. We just do them. We open it up. All of our education areas are opened up, even our live challenges that we run, and everything's free to the point where, we could get people coming in from the outside. Luckily, we don't too much, but get people coming in from the outside that might just want to jump into the tutorial site to learn about marketing. So they could. And that would be a course that we would sell for at least £1,000 you know, a YouTube challenge, $2,000, you know, 2 co-hosts, 2 presenters on there giving away stuff and information, $2,000, you know. So this is all stuff that you're getting for free inside the platform, and we never charge for this. So these are all good points going forwards. And we do have other features that are going to go in there. Now, I was talking, I saw a post on someone saying, wouldn't it be good to have a little kind of memo pad where you could write about students and keep a kind of copy in there? Now, Kevin was also backing this up, and he was asking Rakesh about this, and Rakesh was saying, yeah, well, that could be something quite easy to implement into the system. So that is very possible that that could go into the system as well, because it's already been discussed, and Rakesh said, right, okay, yeah, we can put that in there, then it's probably going to happen. I'd like to get Rakesh in to actually talk about some of the longer term things that are going into the platform. There is complete revamping of the communities. That's going to be awesome. For me in particular, it's a big one. For me personally, it was bigger than the blog. For Kevin, blog was most important. For me, communities is most important going forwards. So that's going to be completely changed, and I cannot wait. And maybe we can have all our community on our tutorial site, and then maybe bypass a little bit the group, get everybody across there, be completely private, then be really good. So there's that going in. Remember also that we have quizzes, surveys. So these are being totally revamped. I've had a look at the what's been proposed, and it's going to be really good. So imagine branching questions based on answers, you know, free form questions in there, all of these things. It looks phenomenal. Drag and drop those questions around like you do already. We try and keep it all the same. So even when the page builder 2.0 goes in there, even that is going to have some amazing features, such as page templates, you know, being able to share designs across. So you guys that are selling page designs, we want to make it really easy for you. You know, we want to produce our own, almost like WordPress themes, you know, like go to Theme Forest and those sort of places, and you buy your themes. So we almost want to do a library of that. So add some there, and then we can have a library, a theme library as well. People could sell or add to that theme library. We are going to have the page blocks in there. Of course, it's going to be the beautiful page editor that we know and love. So it might be reskinned slightly, but it will be the same way that you're working, but with more options in there. Certain things I've asked for, which I think are really important, is things like being able to change the logo size. So when you upload a logo, you have the ability to be able to upload that, change the logo size in there rather than use something like CSS. So these are all upcoming features that I wanted you to be sort of introduced to as far as the platform. So guys, I can see I've got one viewer. It's probably Manmeet. So you've all dropped off. Maybe I'm boring you to death, but it's been a good day, and I haven't got anyone coming into this. So I'm going to, let me just refresh first, because I seem to have this going on. I'm just going to refresh the screen so that I can see if there's any questions coming to this group. Okay, so no new questions in here. Let me just check here. So I have lots of, oh, there's quite a few actually. Okay, yeah, so new features added on there. So let me just check. Just make sure if there are any questions in there, I like to answer them. That's really important. Yeah, so Liz was the last one to make a comment there. So yeah, so a lot of you, you know, I know I've sprung this on you, like have your say session. So I want to give you a bit more time. So this might be something that goes in. I might even run it as a live in its own right. I set it up as an event. So it gives you a bit of time to plan. So you can just come in. And what I intend to do is actually put the live link so you can drop in with me and we can talk about things, talk about ideas, find out exactly what you're doing. So that's kind of, it's now 5:15. We normally finish at 6, but I'm going to wrap up a little bit early for today because there's no questions going in there and the viewer count is down. Remember, A Day with Zenler runs 9 till 12 and 3 till 6, the last Friday of every month. I'm going to be hitting the Zen pop-ups next week in full force. So I'm going to really, really get down to it and start getting in there. There's a lot of questions that have gone into the group, and I really want to get in there and do some Zen pop-ups to answer them. Now, if you've put a question in there and I do a Zen pop-up on it, I will always tag you into the Zen pop-up. So it will flick up, you can jump to it and you can watch the answer to that question. It saves a lot of time. Not only does it save time because messages can go back and forwards 20 or 30 times and people still cannot understand it. By doing a video and showing you how it's done, it's a lot easier for you to understand. Like I already said in session 1, we are revamping the complete guide to Zenler, and it's going to also be article driven as well. So it's going to be easier for you to find information. Everything's going to be split out. It's all going to be inside documents as well on our support docs. So that's coming your way as well. These are massive things that we're trying to do here. We're changing the whole onboard process to make everything cleaner and easier. Kevin, Alice are working on that. You know, there's just so many things going on. All the social media posts, like Liz and Manmeet are helping with those. Adriana's posting them to our social group. You know, we set up the TikTok channel. There's just a lot of things going on all at once. Why? You're probably like, why are they doing so much? Why is it? Well, we always do so much. We just need to push this stuff. It's got to a point with our social feeds where we've caught up with all our stuff. So now we can start focusing on current things that go on each week, such as office hours, such as Zen chat, such as Zen zone sessions. By posting these out to our social feeds, and if you're signed up on one of our social channels, whether that be Instagram, whether that be Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you're going to get a notification. So if you get a notification, you know that something's going on. If you're free to attend, you can just jump in and attend it. So we're trying to make it easier for you to get this information across. Also, I would like to say that I would like to start posting to the app. So I'm going to do some push notifications directly to the app from the tutorial site. So if you get a push notification come up on your phone, if you've got the app on your phone, you're going to get a little message that says Zen Zone happening in 1 hour's time or something. So I want to try push notifications through on phone. Now, remember, all the stuff that we're doing through Zenler. Okay. So don't look at it and go, oh, you know, how did they do that? I wonder how they did that. We did that through Zenler. But if you're unsure of how we did something, write a question in the group and ask for it to be hashtag Zen pop-up. And then maybe we'll do a Zen pop-up on it and we'll help you with that. So that kind of brings us to an end to a quite exciting day. I've been on quite a lot today. I was on with Kevin, Alice and Manmeet. So I'm kind of a little bit exhausted now. So we're going to end this session. And I wish you a really lovely weekend. And we'll be back the last Friday of the month. I've already got, funny enough, I've already got 3 or 4 people that are going to come into next month's Day with Zenler. So I'm really looking forward to that. Of course, we're going to have Manmeet come in and teach us a bit about Japanese as well, Japanese basics. That's going to be really good. So loads to look forward to. Kevin's going to be back. Kevin's doing on the couch as well. That he'll put that as an event into Facebook, and he'll be doing some bits as well. Alice is always on 3 o'clock every last Friday of the month as well. She's always on here. So it's going to be another exciting day with Zenler. We finished today. We covered quite a lot of subjects. We've got a lot of information out there. Expect me to pop up over the weekend with a Zen pop-up to try and answer some of the questions that are coming in the group. I see these questions and I want to jump on it. I just haven't had the time because I've been working on other things, but I want to jump straight in it and answer those questions. So I'm going to be trying to do that the weekend as well. We got some really big news to start to talk to you about. Things are not ready yet, so I can't announce it. And I'm not the person that has the right to announce some things if they're run by other team members. I don't want to take their glory away from them. So there are big things coming your way soon. So I'm going to sign off now and say that's another day with Zenler wrapped for session 2. Take care and have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. And thank you to all teams. Thanks for Alice. That was an amazing session on challenges. Thank you, Manmeet, so much. Amazing hardware, software, quite a hard subject to do. You did that amazing job there. Thanks for all the people on the morning session, which was Liz and Kevin as well on there. And I'll just give myself a pat on the back and I'll say goodbye for now. See you later, guys.